Hello everyone, and welcome back to Real Time, where we talk about the movies we like.
And the ones we don't.
I'm Tyler.
And I'm Molly.
And as you can see by the late upload of our last video on the Cornetto trilogy, we didn't do anything for Thanksgiving. That's because there aren't really a whole lot of Thanksgiving movies that we really wanted to watch or anything like that.
Yeah, plus, Thanksgiving's a busy time.
Although, apparently there was a movie that was released a little while ago that's called Thanksgiving.
I heard of that one, yeah, like A Murderous Pilgrim or something like that. I don't really know.
Yeah, I don't know. We never got around to watching it because, busy and all that. But today, we're going to be doing something a little bit different from what we usually do. We're going to be talking about a video game.
That's crazy. We don't talk about video games.
No, we don't. And just a heads up, all the gameplay footage you're about to see, none of it came from us. We have no means of capturing footage of this game, so we're just gonna take from the YouTube channel that uploaded it. The YouTube channel being Rockstar Games, of course.
Oh yeah. I don't know why I said that.
Anyways, if we could show our own gameplay footage, we would. But
yeah, because I'm so dang good at it.
But we can't. Now, Rockstar is having its 25th anniversary, I believe. So we are going to be talking about our favorite game from this illustrious studio.
Yep. A really good game. And that game would be
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, one of my favorite games that I play, which is saying a lot because I tend to play Nintendo games. I like the Mario, I like Kirby, I like Animal Crossing, I like those, I like Pikmin, I like the casual gameplay, nice, cozy games. But this is one of the games I play that is very different from my usual gaming lineup.
Yes, it is. So, Rockstar Games was founded in December of 1998, and what they're primarily known for is the Grand Theft Auto series. I don't know how many of those games that you've played, but I've played most of them.
I've played none of them.
Okay then. But Rockstar is also known for the game Bully, which is about a kid in a school being a bully. I haven't actually played it, but that's just what I'm gathering. And of course, the Red Dead Redemption series.
Yeah. I started... I remember playing Red Dead Redemption 1, but I didn't really play the story. I just got on, my dad's file and ran around and, lassoed deer and stuff like that. But whenever, I guess my brother was the first one to get Red Dead Redemption 2, I made my own file, and I, actually played it normally.
Yeah, actually, you played this game before I ever did.
That is true, I did.
And so I got this game for myself late 2020 after I got back from overseas. It was on sale on the PlayStation Store, so I figured, let's give this a try. And I played a bit of it, and I put it down. I just... I had a whole bunch of other things going on in life. So for a little over 2 years, I put it back until, what was it, a few months ago?
Yeah, it wasn't very long ago.
I picked it back up, and I fell in love completely with this game.
Yeah, you, excuse me.
Bless you.
Yeah, I'm catching a cold. But anyways, you, pretty much, would play it straightforward. I would be you would be hogging the TV, which was fine. I'm perfectly fine with doing something else, but in the evenings, instead of watching TV like we usually do, you would just pick up your PS4 controller and just play PlayStation, which is fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you really got through it quick once you picked it back up. It just took you a long time.
Yeah, so, to put it in perspective, I picked up this game back when, right after Arthur and Lenny go out in the town and get absolutely smashed. And I got through, I just finished the epilogue last week, as of when we're recording this. Like, I haven't 100% of the game or anything. I still have a lot to do, but I'm done with the story.
Yeah. Congratulations, by the way.
So, Red Dead 2 is the story of Arthur Morgan and his life in the Dutch van der Linde gang.
Yeah, I'd say that's a good basic summary.
After a robbery has gone wrong in Blackwater, Dutch and his gang have to basically get as far away from the law and the Pinkertons as they can. So they ended up holding up in this old mining town in the middle of a blizzard, and eventually, after you go on missions and stuff, you get to a more hospitable area, and from there you are able to explore this open world.
Yeah, and what a world it is. I'm just blown away with how detailed it is, how beautiful the scenery is. It's just amazing.
It's very immersive. You can you can do all sorts of things in this world. You can talk to people, and when you talk to people, everyone is programmed to respond differently to you based on how you approach them.
Yeah, super detailed. Yeah, there's like so many different interactions that people have. It's just like this would have taken forever to make, I would think.
Oh, it did. It took at least 5 years to make.
I can see why.
You can actually hunt animals in this world, and depending on what weapon you use and how many times you shoot them, will dictate how the actual pelt, like the quality of it is.
Yeah, another really insane detail.
If you let's say you want to hunt some birds, if you come at them with something like a big rifle, or you're hunting them with dynamite, you're not going to get much. So you have to hunt them with the more appropriate thing, like a 22 caliber rifle, or your bow, for instance.
Yeah, I like to use my bow in hunting because I feel like it doesn't really damage it too much.
And that's not even getting into the realistic horse testicle physics.
Yeah, I really like that your horse can be either a male or a female, and you can tell that by just looking between their legs.
If it's a boy, it'll have balls, and if it's a girl, it won't. And if you're in a hot area, they will descend, and if you're in a cold area, they will get closer to the body. Like how it happens in real life.
That's too much details for a pair of balls, I think.
Look, you want immersion, don't you? You want realism,
yeah.
So we need to have realistic horse balls.
Okay, fair enough, yeah.
Maybe not need, but the detail and dedication is really appreciated. Not just in the horse balls, but in every aspect of this game.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
And you can actually, with the people in your crew, you can actually have them turn against you or have them stay on your side, depending on how you talk to them too, because that's just how people are.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah, you control if Arthur's going to be like a good guy or a bad guy. The things you do can either give you honor or can take away your honor. If you're like me, then you can like not do anything mean. So of course my Arthur is always very honorable. He would never do anything wrong. Never ever.
He's literally an outlaw.
No, not my Arthur. My Arthur's too nice. Too good of a man.
Anyways, you also have all sorts of different missions you can do in the game, of course. And there's also different side missions you can pick up depending on who you come across in the game. Like, for instance, there's one mission where you have a guy named Mr. White and another one named Mr. Black. Guess what color they are? It's the opposite of what their names is for some reason.
Yeah, pretty funny.
And you got to go through the town of Rhodes, taking down wanted posters so that they can actually go into town. And you meet them again later on after a time skip, and it's like, do you guys did you guys ever think about not doing that?
Yeah, they're pretty funny.
Or there's other random encounters when, let's say, someone gets their foot stuck in a bear trap. You can either get them out of there, or you can just watch them die.
Yeah, it's kind of mean.
Well, that's the thing, though. Choice and actually being able to decide whether you want to do something in this game.
Yeah, I do like that. Yeah, I just think it's really cool that your choices will affect the game, and that's really cool. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, if you're honorable, the more honorable you are, you get like a discount at stores or something. They charge you less.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's really nice. Geez, there's just so many details and small little things here and there that I don't think we're going to be able to talk about every single one of them.
Oh yeah, definitely not. There's so many details and just like neat little things that it just really helps you be fully immersed in this world.
So let's get into spoilers, because it's a pretty important part of the story.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, duh.
Yeah, the game's been out for a while, so.
If you haven't played it by now, if you're like me and you're dragging your feet on it, get on it, first of all. But in one of the earlier missions, when you're at a camp near Valentine, you're basically acting as a loan shark enforcer for one of the guys in your camp, Leopold Strauss. You know, he lends money and he expects it back, obviously. And one guy you go after, Thomas Downs, ends up spitting blood in your face. This becomes important later on when you find out that Arthur has been diagnosed with tuberculosis.
Yeah, pretty disappointing part of the game.
Back then, tuberculosis was a lot less treatable than it is today. So, yeah, that's a pretty good indication that Arthur gonna die.
Yeah, yeah. During, this time of, the world, yeah, people pretty much died all the time from TB.
Now, I feel like this is a bit more tragic than, in some ways, than the ending of the first Red Dead, where John Marston gets gunned down. Here, you know a whole chapter beforehand that Arthur's gonna die, so it's a matter of it's just a matter of it happening. You know it's gonna happen. You can't do anything about it. You can take all the health serums you want. You can eat as much as you can to get your weight back up, but it's gonna happen.
Yeah, you can't avoid the death.
And unfortunately, that's what happens. And I'm gonna be honest, this is the first time a video game has ever made me cry.
Yeah, and the ending, I mean, you just get so attached to Arthur as you play this game. He kind of just feels like a part of you. So it's really easy to be upset during the ending of the movie.
The game, you mean?
Well, yeah, the game. Sorry, we talk about movies so much, I get confused.
And it wasn't even his death that really got to me. Is his last ride, where you're riding back to camp, and you hear the words of everyone that you've helped throughout this game, whether it be Jimmy Brooks or any of the other numerous people who you chose to help, because there's some missions in this game where you can either choose to do a good thing or a bad thing. Like with Jimmy Brooks, for instance, you chase this guy down after he said that he knew you from Blackwater, and you have a choice to let him fall off the cliff or help him up.
Yeah, it's very cinematic, the last ride, and it just really, hits you in the feelings, and it's just a very, I don't know the word for it. It's just a very emotional, I guess, is a good word for it.
That it is. And as you're riding back to camp because you were just told who the mole in the camp is, and it's Micah, that blonde piece of crap who you broke out of prison and who's been generally an antagonistic guy the whole game, had been talking to the Pinkertons after you got back from Gorma.
Yeah, nobody likes Micah. He is not a good guy.
I hate that guy so much.
Yeah, me too.
But, you know, he's the kind of character that you're made to hate, so it's not like it's not based on any sort of it's not for a lack of writing that he's a hateable person. He's not the person who you're meant to like and you end up hating, sort of like, you know, Jar Jar Binks or Scrappy Doo. He's the one that who you're meant to hate, like Joffrey or John Kreese, for instance.
Yeah, you are made to hate this guy. This is this is a character that is very well written because you just hate him so much.
But the thing about Micah is, again, we're meant to hate him. Whereas with someone like Dutch, you don't hate him at first. At first, you know, he seems like a decent guy. He's very magnanimous with his words, and he's very charismatic. So you get why people would follow this guy.
Yeah, he's very likable, easy to deceive, I guess.
Well, it's easy for him to deceive.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
And as the game goes on, his mask slowly slips, and you get to thinking, was he always like this, or did all the actions that kept happening and the stress that he's under turn him into this?
Yeah, I definitely don't like Dutch, but there's some mixed feelings in there for sure.
Yeah, for instance, at numerous parts during the game, he's very loyal to the people who are loyal to him. Like with Hosea after he got shot when they were robbing the bank in Saint Denis. But then later on, when Arthur gets captured by the O'Driscolls, he doesn't even try to go look for him.
Yeah, and he doesn't help John out of prison. So Arthur has to do it himself with Sadie. So yeah, there's a lot of questionable actions he does.
Or when the gang is helping out the Native Americans, and Arthur gets tackled by the corrupt army colonel, and Dutch has an opportunity to help him out. He doesn't.
Yeah, Dutch can be pretty shady.
Yeah, so he's a very well-written character, and it's just it's disappointing to see how he ends up the way he is. But I feel like at the end, you know, on top of the mountain, he redeems himself a little bit when he shoots Micah and then leaves the door open for John to kill him.
Yeah,
John Marston, by the way, the protagonist of the first game, if you didn't know.
It's just you wish he would have done that on top of the mountain whenever Arthur was dying. It's like, why couldn't you have shot Micah then, Dutch? That would have been a lot nicer.
Well, to be fair, at the depending on the ending you get, which the one I got where John died, not John, Arthur died on top of the mountain after helping John escape. It doesn't seem like Dutch was very eager to go with Micah either.
Yeah. he just didn't seem very happy about how everything turned out.
Yeah, basically all his gang is dead. His right-hand man Hosea was gunned down in the streets a while ago, and he was basically the voice of reason to Dutch before all of this.
Yeah, Hosea's death, I think, really caused everything to fall apart in the gang.
And then right after that, Lenny got gunned down too, and I think it's really telling when that happened. Just like how the gang reacted, like who really cared about Lenny.
Yeah, you see everyone running past them, which they are being chased, but it's like Arthur's hanging back, trying to do something about it.
Yeah, Arthur is completely devastated. He has to he's trying to shake Lenny awake to see if he can.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think Charles might hang out a little bit before running off too.
Yeah, Charles hung around for a second, and as did Javier for a little bit shorter, but he still obviously cared about Lenny.
Yeah, which I mean shows to their characters.
Bill and Micah can't be bothered to care; they just run off. Which, again, they are, being chased, but still.
But still, you think you would hang around for like a few seconds just to, pay whatever respects you can in that moment.
Dutch ran off too, but he was yelling about how, he hated that Lenny died, so he gets a pass.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, it's by this point the gang is really starting to break up. Well, you can argue that they had already begun doubting Dutch after Blackwater happened.
Yeah, I would say so.
But I think it's time for us to talk about our favorite character in the game, Arthur Morgan.
Oh yeah, it's hard to not like Arthur, especially when you're playing with him for so long. Yeah, really cool guy.
I've seen people say that when they started playing Red Dead 2, they were upset that they had to play as Arthur, but when the epilogue started, they were upset that they had to play as John again.
Yeah, I can see that happening. Yeah, I really like Arthur.
I really love his progression in the game. Because at the beginning, you get this feeling that this is a stone cold killer. He'll do whatever he needs to do for the gang because he's just too loyal to Dutch, and you still get that. You get that feeling from him at the very end too, but at the same time, he's not willing to put up with this to follow Dutch on this path that he's put the gang on because of all of his bad decisions.
Yeah, and based on how you play the game, you do see that Arthur, well, if you play like the honorable way, that Arthur is a really good guy deep down, and he does care about John. He wants John to have a good life. He accepts that he's dying and knows that John should be the one to live on since he has a kid and Abigail to take care of, so he wants to see them do well.
Yeah, and I didn't do the I didn't choose going back for the money because what sense would that make? Why would Arthur at this point go for the money? He would, of course, help John get out of this.
Yeah, I think so too. Especially if he knows he's dying. It's like, I think Arthur in his last moments would want to help out John.
One scene that really gets me is when Arthur's talking to the nun that he would occasionally help out in Saint Denis. She's one of the first people that he actually tells that he has tuberculosis and is dying. And we get an incredible moment of vulnerability from him where he admits that he's scared of dying.
Yeah, it's a really emotional moment, and I think it really shows, it really digs into his character, and it makes you, I think, it makes me want to really do good with Arthur. I guess I can't speak for everyone.
After that scene, I personally can't ever let Arthur go into low honor again.
Oh yeah, no. Arthur's too good for me.
John's another story, though, because I will kill everyone inside while playing as John. I don't care, because at this point, the honor don't matter. I'm gonna do it.
I still can't. I can't do it. I feel bad.
Look, I gotta let a little bit of that GTA player monkey brain out and let him, get in the controls. It's just, I gotta do it. I gotta kill every person and horse I see.
Yeah. So if we're done talking about Arthur, who's your favorite character besides Arthur?
That's a really tough choice. Well, do you have one?
I have possible two. It's probably either Charles or Hosea. I really like Charles. He seems like a good guy, and he's really tough too. He's really cool. I feel like as Arthur, if I could choose anyone to be on my side, it would be Charles. And then Hosea. I really like Hosea. He seems like a good father figure, and is more of the brains and the like you said, the rational side. Is that what you said?
Well, voice of reason.
Voice of reason, yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah. So I really like him as a character as well. What about you?
I'd say Charles, yeah. I really like how good of a friend he is to Arthur, how loyal he is, and just how useful he is in game.
Yeah, he's so cool. So tough.
I feel like at the end when the gang basically split between Dutch and Arthur, Charles would have definitely been on Arthur's side.
Oh yeah, if Charles was there, him and Arthur could have had a better chance. Well, and John was there too.
Yeah. Him, John, Charles. I feel like Sadie would have been on Arthur's side too.
Oh yeah, for sure. But she was busy helping Abigail.
As we saw, Miss Grimshaw was on Arthur's side, but then she died.
She got shot, yeah.
What use would you have been, Miss Grimshaw?
She would have shot some people probably.
I admire your heart, but you got gunned down pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Come to think of it, I think Hosea would have been with Arthur too.
I would like to think so, yeah.
Or
Which
I like to think that Hosea wouldn't have let it got that far.
that's what I was about to say. I think with Hosea, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, because after Hosea died, Micah became the devil on Dutch's shoulder.
Yeah, and Hosea would not have allowed that. No way.
No way.
No way.
So yeah, Hosea, John, Charles, Sadie, of course, Abigail, I guess, because why the hell would she be on Dutch's side?
Yeah.
Lenny, of course.
Oh yeah, of course would be on Arthur's side.
Kieran and Sean too.
Yeah, they would.
Of course, all those characters ended up dying too. That was unfortunate.
Yeah, it's a little unfair that all of the people who were going to be on Arthur's side died.
Like, I full transparency, I knew that Arthur was going to die before I, started playing this again because, you deduce some things, and the fact that you're playing as John in the epilogue just clued me in the fact that I don't think this is going to end well for Arthur.
Yeah, and especially if you're familiar with the first game, John dies at the end of the first game, so you're like, this is probably a similar setup.
Plus, Old West tales, they sometimes end with the hero dying, so it's not a shock that Arthur died. Still hurt though.
Yeah.
But like, I wasn't expecting Lenny or Sean or Kieran to die. It's like, why?
Yeah, pretty devastating.
And with Sean, it just happens out of nowhere. He just gets shot in the face after they killed a whole bunch of dudes in roads.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it just really startles you. It's kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But he was the first death, I think, right, of the gang?
The first one we saw, yeah, because one of the Calendar brothers died in the
Well,
opening cutscene, but like we didn't really get to know him.
Yeah, of the characters we know, he's the first to go.
Yeah, such a shame. But is there anything you would have liked to have been done better in this game?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about that.
There's one thing that I would have liked to have a bit more of. I would have liked to have been able to explore a bit more on Guarma.
Oh, yeah.
It's a nice tropical setting, so it would have been nice to actually do a bit more on that island.
Can you go back as John?
No.
Oh, yeah, then... Yeah, they should have made it where you can explore.
They were going to, but they cut that.
Oh, because that would have been cool.
Ah, well. Now, luckily, though, there's nothing on Gorma that you really need to collect for that 100%, so there's that at least.
Yeah, that's good then, yeah.
Do you have anything more to say about Red Dead 2?
It's a good game. If you're like me and you're used to playing those fun little cozy games, I think if you haven't, you should give this one a try for real.
And if you're a bit of a Wild West nut like me, then you'll absolutely love this game.
You've probably already played it if you're a Wild West nut.
Most likely.
Yeah.
So that'll do it for us. We'll catch you next time.
See you next time.